In our modern world, we often think of conflicts as being about land, resources, political power. The struggle between Israelis and Palestinians is certainly about all these things. It is a very real and present tragedy filled with pain and complexity that we see on our screens every day.
We'll leave you with some of the images of the man-made famine in Gaza, where more than 100 people, including children, have died of malnutrition.
To understand the depth of this conflict, we must listen to echoes of much older stories. We must look back thousands of years to myths and sacred tales first told in these same hills and valleys. These are not just bedtime stories or ancient history, they are the bedrock of identity for millions. The land itself, often called the Holy Land, a small but incredibly significant strip of earth. For centuries a crossroads of civilizations, and the birthplace of three great faiths, Judaism, Christianity, Islam. Each of these religions sees this place as central to its spiritual story. This is not a casual connection. So when we watch the news from this region, we are not only seeing a political struggle, we are seeing the modern manifestation of ancient mythologies. The battle is not just for physical territory but for the soul of the land itself, a land made sacred by powerful stories told for millennia. The Jewish connection to the land is rooted in one of the most powerful myths in human history, the covenant. The story, central to the Torah, tells of God making a promise to Abraham and his descendants the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession. This was not a simple gift of property, it was a sacred pact, a covenant that bound the Jewish people to this specific land and to God. The construction of the first temple, the construction of the second temple in Jerusalem, made the city the absolute center of this spiritual world. The destruction of the second temple in 70 CE and the subsequent exile of many Jews did not break this connection. For nearly 2,000 years, in prayer and ritual, Jews around the world have faced toward Jerusalem and repeated the phrase, "Next year in Jerusalem." Christianity inherited this Jewish sacred geography, but gave it a new meaning. For Christians, the land became holy because it was the place where God became human in the person of Jesus Christ. The stories of the Gospels are set in Nazareth, Bethlehem, Galilee, and most importantly, Jerusalem. Every place Jesus walked, taught, or performed a miracle became sanctified. Pilgrimage to the Holy Land became an act of devotion, a way to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. This reinterpretation did not erase the Jewish story but built upon it, creating a new layer of sacred meaning. Jerusalem remained the central city, but its importance shifted. It was now revered not only as the site of the Jewish temple, but as the place of Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection, the ultimate act of salvation. Islam, the third great Abrahamic faith to emerge, also holds this land as profoundly sacred. The Qur'an speaks of the blessed land and honors the same prophets revered in Judaism and Christianity, including Abraham, Moses, Jesus. The most significant event connecting Islam to Jerusalem is the Isra and Miraj, the night journey and the ascension. Islamic tradition says Muhammad was miraculously transported in one night from Mecca to the farthest mosque identified as Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem. From there he ascended to the heavens and spoke with God. This cemented Jerusalem as the third holiest city in Islam, after Mecca and Medina. Here lies the tragedy. The same small piece of ground, Temple Mount for Jews, Haram al-Sharif for Muslims, is the epicenter of holiness for two faiths. It is a place where sacred narratives collide. For Jews, it is the site of ancient temples, and the place where the divine presence once dwelt. For Muslims, it is the site of Muhammad's ascent and the home of Al-Aqsa Mosque. This overlapping of sacred myths means that actions on this holy site resonate with immense power. When political tensions rise, they are often focused on this shared, contested space. The land is not just a place to be divided, it is a story to be told, and each faith wants to be the primary narrator. In the late 19th century and the 20th century, these ancient myths powerfully re-entered the world of politics. The Zionist movement was born from the ancient Jewish dream of next year in Jerusalem. It was a modern political movement, but it drew its emotional force from the mythic promise of return to the ancestral homeland. The creation of the State of Israel in 1948 and the subsequent displacement of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, an event they call the Nakba or catastrophe, created a new and powerful myth of its own. Today these myths are alive in the political actions and rhetoric on both sides. When Israeli settlers build new communities in the West Bank, many see themselves as fulfilling the divine promise made to Abraham. Their actions are not just political. For them, they are a sacred duty. Similarly, when Palestinian groups like Hamas fire rockets into Israel, their charters and statements are filled with Islamic references, framing the struggle not as a nationalist conflict, but as a holy war to reclaim sacred Muslim land from occupiers. So why do these ancient stories still hold such power in our supposedly rational modern world? It is because myths do more than explain the past, they give meaning to the present. They provide a sense of identity, purpose, and justice that political ideologies alone often cannot. They answer the fundamental human question, why are we here? They elevate a grim struggle over territory into a cosmic drama, a battle between right and wrong, destiny and dispossession. Until we can understand the power of these myths, we cannot fully grasp the human heart of this tragic conflict.